I had one of my most shocking experiences with one of the Gedolim in many, many years, perhaps even my life. Last night, a friend of mine was visiting from Chutz La'aretz. I took him into Rav Moshe Sternbuch, and as he entered and he asked his request, he says, "You're going to die!" And of course, we were scared out of our wits because when Rav Sternbuch was 97 and the Shekhinah rests on his face, says something like that, obviously that's cause for great concern. So as we presented the issue, which my friend was presenting, which was a medical issue, where he was taking doing a certain form of shtadlis, it turned out there was a major, major issue in halacha involved in this, and it was something which there is a precedent that for this transgression, people do die from that, and the Rav could immediately grasp, before he had even said anything, that his life was in grave danger. And the Rav told him as follows. He said, if you just daven and you abandoned this form of ishtalus that you're doing, then Bizrat Hashem, the tefillah will be answered. But if you continue this form of ishtadlus, you're putting your life in very, very great danger. And my friend and myself, who were already in a state of shock after receiving um, such a introductory welcome, immediately agreed that there was no way that he was going to continue this form of ishtadlus. And with that, we got a bracha and we walked out. In any event, we were both shaking after this experience. And my friend said, I can't leave here without getting a bracha for Arichas Yamim, because when I walked in, he said that I'm going to die. In any event, we were allowed back in. We went back in. He got a bracha for Arichas Yamim. He got a bracha for what he wanted to take place. And B'ezrat Hashem, we left. Both extremely shaken up by what had happened. What can we take out from this incident? We take it as follows. Number one, we have to realize, Chazal tell us, the Torah tells us, B'charta b'chayim, choose life, right? Hashem has put in front of us life and death. If we keep the mitzvahs, that's life. If we do averas, that's death. We sometimes think, okay, I did an avera, nobody's perfect, what can we do? We sometimes think, I have a very, very serious issue that I wanted to take care of. He wasn't doing this tipul for life or death. He was doing it for a very important reason, but it wasn't something pikuach nefesh. We sometimes think that maybe the ends justify the means. Maybe I can be lenient regarding a certain halacha, and perhaps there are opinions that rely on this. I personally don't think that there was reasons to be makel in this particular area, and Rav Sternbuch felt even more confident that this was not something that a Jew should be doing. And sometimes we think, well, the ends can justify means. The ends are very, very important here, and therefore, I'll do a little avera, and I'll be right. The answer is that it will not be all right. The answer is, kihu chayenu. Keeping the Torah is a matter of life and death. And sometimes we grasp this, and sometimes we don't. Right? But the Gedolim, especially Rav Moshe Sternbuch, I don't believe there's anybody bigger and closer to Hashem in the world today than Rav Sternbuch. They have it very, very clearly in front of our eyes. B'charta b'chayim. Choose life or choose death. If you wish to choose life, choose life. If you wish to choose death, the door is open. You can choose death. But if you're smart, you won't do it. Obviously, if a person is not privileged to be in the mechitzas of such gedolim like Rav Sternbuch, who could feel this, he could easily make a mistake. He could choose death. Each and every one of us has to understand that keeping the mitzvahs is a matter of life, and doing averas is a matter of death. And if we want to live a long, healthy, fruitful life, we should choose life. Where we have something in our life which is bordering on transgression, or is actually entering the realm of transgression, don't do it before you've spoken to an Anam Gadol. We find in Parshas Yisro that Yisro advised Moshe Rabbeinu, for small issues, have sorry halafim, sorry revavos. For big issues, have sorry meya, sorry asaros. Some learn that it's just the opposite, that it's the number of people who are involved, or the number of rabbanim involved, whatever it might be. For the big issues, go to big rabbanim. The bigger the issue, the more questionable it is, the more dangerous it is, the more you need to go to an Anam Gadol to get Eitzah. So therefore, I pass on to you this message. If you have something in your life which where you're suspect, maybe you shouldn't be involved with this. Maybe this involves serious transgressions, which there's a precedent that this could cause great danger in your life. So be careful, right? Because Rav Moshe Sternbuch told us last night as we went in, "You're going to die," and we got the message. Please listen and take this message. Let Rav Moshe Sternbuch's words impact the life of every single Jew, and let's all try our best to cling to the word, to the beautiful and life-giving words of the Torah. I'll just conclude with what Rav Moshe Sternbuch has told me so many times. We're on the saf of the Gula, which means that, as Rav Moshe Sternbuch says, we're a hair's breadth away from the Gula, and Hashem is waiting for one person to do one thing which will bring us across the saf, which will take us across. And says Rav Sternbuch, when one person does that one thing, then the Gula will come. It's most likely an area of Bein Adam L'Chavero, and most likely involves a detour, doing something, giving up something, being vocal somebody, ending machlokas, as the Rav says so many times, that whoever is actively involved in a machlokas is holding back the Gula, is actively holding back the Gula. Whoever ends the machlokas is actively ending the Gullus. And the more difficult it is for you to end the machlokas, the more likely it is that you will be the person who the Gula will be called on your name. If it's extremely, extremely difficult, perhaps Hashem has chosen you to be the one to bring the Gullus, end of the Gullus. And if it's not you, you'll certainly have a major, major part. As I've turned to 100,000 women and asked them, please clean your heart out from any iota of bad feeling towards another Jew. And everyone who does this will allow the Shekhinah to enter their hearts, and they will be playing an active role in the Gula. They will be from the 100,000 or 10,000 or 1,000 or 100 or 10 or one person who's going to be that person who's going to bring the Gula and be called on your name. Hashem should give us the greatest siyata d'shmaya. And we should learn from these very powerful words, Moshe Sternbuch, Kiyu Chayenu, that the words of the Torah are life and death, and that it is in the hands of each and every one of us to bring the Geula and to bring the Shekhinah back to the Beis HaMikdash. It should become coming down from the sky, as Rashi says in Yecheskel. The next Beis HaMikdash is already built. It's in Shemayim. It's waiting to fall down and to flatten the mosque on the other side of this wall. Let's hope it's going to be today, but not just hope. Let's do something about it, as Rav Sternbuch has told us, instructed us. Let's forget about the silly, petty problems that we have with other people. Let's just drop all of them and let's bring the Gula now. Amen.